is
Eh,
Bring It On from 2000.
yes.
So this movie's directed by Peyton Reed, starring Kirsten Dunst, Eliza Dushku, and Jesse Bradford and Gabrielle Union. The IMDb plot summary: a champion high school cheerleading squad discovers its previous captain stole all their best routines from an inner city school, must scramble to compete at this year's championships. So this movie, I love this movie. I saw this not in theaters actually. It was on VHS, like rented it when I was in college, and immediately was like, this movie is incredibly funny, a lot of great energy, and a lot of it is due to Kirsten Dunst's performance in this. I think is the best use of this bubbly, fun, kind of like ball of energy, but not like a dumb blonde way. Like there is more to this. She feels more well-rounded in her portrayal. She feels like a real teenage girl who is in these situations. Like just in the way that there's a scene early on in the movie where guy she's kind of crushing on has a shirt of the Clash, like the famous punk band. She's like, "Oh, is that your band?" Something that an
Mhm.
airhead blonde would say. And he's like, "No, this is a famous band from like the 70s, punk band." And her response, like, "Oh, that's cool. That's vintage." There's something about that response. It's like, oh, so she's not dumb. It's just like she doesn't know about this thing, and like she's still trying to relate to the guy. Like little things like that is adds layers onto this character that easily could be like a Cher from Clueless, or even like an Elle Woods from Legally Blonde. Like play up that sort of that side
Mhm.
of it. She feels like a fully well-rounded character in this film, and the comedic chops she has too are just so good. Like her comedic timing, playing off of the other actors is just great. And this movie I think is a classic, and a lot of it is her. I mean, though I will admit, like I'm predisposed. Like I love movies. I've said this in the podcast before, where people like put on a show and have to. There's a big
Mhm.
cheerleading competition at the end, like that I like. And any movie with like teams and together trying to accomplish something, I think is great too. But there's a lot of other things in this movie that I think make this stand out too, and that are really special that I get into in a bit. But I just want to know, yeah, what are your thoughts on Bring It On?
Yeah, again, I've never seen it. I always wanted to
Oh,
see it
cool.
and finally watched it. And I'm with you. I absolutely loved it. It was the feeling in my mind immediately after watching the movie was, oh, this came before Pitch Perfect.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah. No, it's like the
this is the
same
OG.
movie. Yeah, it's like the same beats. Well, there are some actually pretty big
Yeah,
differences
yeah,
between in terms of what the themes are, but
yeah.
it's basically the exact
The
same.
feeling is very similar,
Exactly.
but like super fun, great world building once again. But I think, yeah, like I said about your first choice as well, your first love, she like holds the entire movie and carries it. Because
Hmm.
unlike Drop Dead Gorgeous, where it's a satire and the tone is very much sort of tight, in this case, I think the movie is very funny and fun, but also gets a little slapstick and silly
Yeah.
at times and is sort of, overblown and can be, dismissed as sort of like a fun, funny teen comedy.
Hmm.
But at the center of it is Kristen Dunst, who I feel like I said, carries the movie, but it's like a fully fledged character. All the layers, it's a real person. And I think that's what elevates the movie. Like you remove her, this movie is, a B tier movie in my mind.
Yeah. The
As
energy.
fun as it is,
Hmm.
but I think it's her presence that makes this movie feel real. The stakes are real. You care. You want them to win because, yeah, she's cutesy and fun, real, relatable, but also intelligent and wants
Hmm.
it.
Right.
And you can see the struggle of how she's trying to kind of get this group together and band them together, but things always don't work out. And you see her struggle through that. So, love this movie. And she was just great.
Yeah, yeah, and I think too, like when they realize that their routines were stolen over the years,
Yeah.
her decision to try to mend that and not just keep doing that, and the solidarity that they have with the inner city team, Gabrielle Union's team, I think is
Oh,
also great. That easily could have
love
been
that.
some like sort of maybe problematic portrayals
Yeah, or
and
too on the
too
nose
on the
and
nose.
preachy,
Exactly.
it feels very real.
Right, but it's a lot of these themes are about like cultural appropriation, artistic appropriation, but solidarity amongst these cheerleaders that are just want the best of one another. Each of those teams are like, who let the best team win. There is that, greater good of competition that both is driving both of them. That I
Yeah,
think is just also elevates this movie a little bit.
yeah.
And then two, I think that if I were a studio head or could make a law, every movie that was made, even Civil War that we just saw, would end with either a blooper reel a dance off, or have a curtain call where like they show the faces and the names. And this movie ending with like a blooper reel and like just people, all the cats dancing at the end, incredible. Any movie
So
that does
fun.
that is immediately gets like 5 more points for me. And I think this is one of my favorites, actually, the whole dance sequence at the end. Like I went back and watched it 3 times, just the ending after I saw this movie, and actually watched it twice in 24 hours. So like when I watched it once, I was like, I can't not watch this immediately again. It's so good. And I put it immediately on again. I just love this movie so much. And I think a lot of it just captures the perfect essence of what in my mind was Kirsten Dunst was this, even though, yes, she did move on from that as she got older. And I guess you kind of have to. But maybe she'll come back and Bring It On. I know there's been several other ones, but a true sequel where maybe she's the mother or the coach or something,
Right.
and trying to tap into this persona again. But she's great. And also Eliza Dushku, I think, does an incredible job too.
Yeah.
Just want to call her out. I think their chemistry is great together. It's just a super fun movie. Love it.
Super fun, so great. A huge blind spot got checked on my list. So that's
Nice. Hi there, it's Alex. If you like the review and discussion Karan and I just had, make sure you subscribe to our channel, Movies That Shaped Us, to get full episodes. Every other Wednesday, Karan and I review a new release and then discuss 6 other movies made by that film's actor or director and how they shaped us. Subscribe right now or follow our podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts via the link in the description below. Hope you join us for the journey.